fuck, I tell you what though, mate, it's a fucking mafia. Like, I've been learning screenwriting, no joke, 10 years, right? I went to Swinburne University, I did the full script writing course, and I've been writing, like a dozen scripts every year, sending them out, all these new ideas, all these new groundbreaking concepts. Like I had this great idea, it's called Law Foxes, right? You know how Dora the Explorer, she goes on all these adventures and she teaches these children Spanish at the same time? Well, Law Foxes, right? They had this forest, and this big lumber company has a big claim to it. And they want to fight this claim in court, but they can't afford a lawyer because they're foxes and they don't really make any money, right? So they have to go on these adventures to bring down this lumber company's scheme. But at the same time, they have to learn Latin so they can represent themselves. All these other ideas I've had, like to get into all this, like long form narrative shtick with Breaking Bad and stuff like that. I made this script called Dora the Exporter, and I sent it off to the Dora the Explorer guys, so they can kind of update their idea to keep up with their audience. Like Harry Potter kind of became more dark as it went along. And what it is, Dora the Explorer has to start this new exporting business on the border of Mexico and Colombia to get cocaine through, and she kind of gets way in over her head, because she's just like a little girl, and she's exposed to all these new realities. And she finds a darker soul within herself. I thought that was an excellent idea, but I haven't got a fucking word back. Man? Fuck, I tell you what. I had this idea as, it's Thundercats. You remember that old, Thundercats cartoon show? Well, there's like a kind of gritty reboot of that in the vein of, like all these new Superman and Batman movies and shit like that. And it's, these dudes who find themselves genetically spliced with cats still have to police the universe. And they've moved through this empty abyss of space and this blackness and track down all these horrible alien creatures with all these alien systems of morality that just seem so disgusting to us. And at the same time they have to battle all these lice and fleas and shit like that that infest their fur, and they have to deal with all these new problems with their animal sexuality, like their spiked penises and stuff like that. Maybe an episode where one of the Thundercats refinds his human lover that he used to have, and they try to have sex, but he just destroys her genitals. Like Christopher Nolan shit, man. Oh man. And I've had some good sitcom ideas, right? What have I had? I had Prohibition Pete, right? He's this guy, he lives in our society right now, but he thinks prohibition's on, right? It's kind of a comment on, it's like a comment on weed prohibition, you see. He thinks this 1920s prohibition is still on, so he tries to hide all his alcohol, he bootlegs his stuff. Some of the ideas I've had, man. Some of the ideas I've had. Had Mall Detectives. That was another good one. It was kind of like Midsummer Murders, right? It was set in this mall, and there's these old people. You probably don't even see them that much. There's these old people, and they go around and they have to track down shoplifters and stuff like that within the store. That's what they get paid to do, right? And sometimes they even go into other stores and they kind of act as secret shoppers and raid all these people and stuff like that. There's a real moral element to their job. And I just thought they could have a new case every week, a new ingenious shoplifter, maybe a shoplifter with a tinfoil bag or something like that. Maybe they have to deal with hippies or a drug resurgence or some shit. It's something you can just keep going, man. I had some reality TV ideas. I had this idea, it's called The Cube, right? And you lock all these people in this white cube just with each other, and they're in totally white clothes, and it's just the last person to give up. You don't give them food or water or anything, and you just film it 24 hours and see the last person to give up, right? I also had Congo Cops. That was another good one. There's duck hunters and stuff like that. How they become really popular? Well, I thought you could kind of branch out in this whole new continent and just Congo Cops, right? And basically follow them around with cameras as they go through their everyday job, shooting children and you know, taking drug payments and stuff like that, taking bribes from poachers and stuff like that. I thought it'd be real interesting stuff. You know, some more reality TV show ideas like leprosy lovers. I was just following like various dudes and girls with leprosy as they try to like come to terms with how they can continue a romantic life, especially with each other. And all their limbs and shit like that are falling off. You know, yeah, there'd be some comedic stuff where, I don't know, like they're having sex and like, I don't know, a toe comes off, or maybe something a little bit more drastic. We had Pummeled. It's a bit like Punked. You know how like Ashton Kutcher goes around and he like punks all these like celebrities and stuff like that? Well, Pummeled is us going around and we just like beat the shit out of really unpopular celebrities, like, I don't know, like Miley Cyrus and Shia LaBeouf and stuff like that. You know, like people that everyone wants to see just punched in the face, and we'll do it for them, man. We'll do it. Documentary ideas, you know, like, you know, they're not exactly scripts, but you know, they're concepts, and you can kind of link into that. You know, like I had a Vice documentary idea. It's called YOLO, the documentary. It's just following these old like party DJs and party musicians that kind of come to terms with like how impermanent their life is, and that they will always grow old, and they kind of have to come to terms with how much of their life they've wasted in just selfish, trivial pursuits. And there's like a show called Gaydar, and it was like a bit of a game showish kind of thing where all these dudes would be lined up, right? And there'd be like one contestant, and he'd have to come on and he'd have to choose the guy who he's going to hang out with, right? But the trick is, one of them is gay, and if he chooses the gay guy, well, yeah, that stuff might not be fit for TV, but we can kind of imply it, you know. Milk Maidens was another idea. That wasn't really a reality show that you could show on TV though. We also had the Foreclosed Runners. Basically, it's a bit of a reality show. It follows around these people who have to foreclose houses, you know, because people haven't paid their rent or whatever, and you know, we follow them inside as they just go inside and just judge and rate all these objects. Well, it's like an archaeology show. We just laugh at how pathetic these people are because they're so poor and shit, you know. We also had an idea. It's called Chambers, and we just get all these unsuspecting people, right, and we just dunk them into just this honeycomb maze thing, and they can communicate with each other verbally, but they can't see each other, and they don't know why they're there, right? You know, we might have to clear up the legal stuff with that. But we just abduct them and shove them in this honeycomb. And I don't know why they're there, but they kind of have to talk and figure out. And over the time, like, people vote them out with their phone. And it's kind of like a reverse Big Brother. Because if people really want to get out of this honeycomb, they have no idea why they're there. So we should have to choose them based on their character and decide which one escapes first.